Greetings, welcome back to a cup of conversation and food for thought with me, Nidra Simmons. I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. I want to come on before I get started. I do not own the rights to the music, so if you hear any music in the background, that is just music playing to set the tone. Um, to help me stay grounded. So, uh, yeah. So if you hear music playing in the background, that's all it is. Music to set the tone and help me stay grounded to possibly contribute to the conversation. Um, but it is just to, you know, keep me grounded and to take away the noise of my chair that be moving so much. But also any commercials you might hear in the background, I do not own the rights to that either. So again, I don't own the rights to the music or the commercials that you may hear in the background. That is just something to set the tone to help me relax. And this content is for entertainment purposes only. So um please receive it that way. Um, please like, share, and subscribe to this live. Please share this live. And I don't know what I'm listening to. Um, but yeah. um, Let me get back on track, y'all. So as always, when I usually come on, I give honor and glory to God. So thank you, God, for waking us up this morning, seeing us throughout the day. Thank you for allowing us to keep us in the right mind and good health and able to move around and to speak and to just continue to love on you, God, talk about you and how great and how awesome you are and all of the things that you have done for us. Um, Thank you for protecting us in our sleep state. Pop that. Thank you for protecting us in our sleep state. Thank you for um, protecting us in our awake state as well as sleep state, keeping us fully dressed. We're in the full armor of God, the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, sword of God's holy word, but of truth and shoes of peace. Thank you for providing for us mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, in every way possible. Continue to have your way in my life and in the life of my family and all of those who are viewing. God, less of me and more of you. Allow me to speak to your people, what you want me to say, how you want me to say it. Um, just have your way, God. Give much gratitude and respect to our big brother Jesus, archangels, guardian angels, all angels in the highest Christ of light, ancestors, guardian ancestors, spirit team here and far. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for just being so wonderful. And thank you for being obedient and following what God or what thus saith the Lord and helping us make it throughout the day. These blessings I pray in your holy name. Amen. That came out really scattered. So let me practice my breathing. I'm going to breathe again. Peace be still. To God be the glory. Thank you, Lord, for a wonderful day. So now that I've calmed down, because I felt like I was going fast forward there for a minute. The topic of discussion for today is youth transition. This is just a cup of conversation, some food for thought, just to talk about some ways on how we can um, bring back the youth within us so that we are not stuck and stagnant and not able to move forward because of the cares and the concerns of what this world brings to us. So, just as a reminder for you all out there, you know, move around today, listen to some music, dance, get your groove on. Um, but what does it mean when someone says to another to be more youthful? And can you look at being youthful or asking someone to be more youthful as a warning or a blessing? Now, if you know that you can't walk or can't move and do anything like that, then don't do anything extraordinary out of, don't do it. But re you can still breathe and sit down and relax and do things that can keep you young, even if you're old. Okay? Stagnation is real, and you don't want to let the cares of this world stop you from being the best you that you can be. Thank you, all of you who are joining the live. Thank you for the hearts, much appreciated. Thank you for joining this live today. I did not have anything set aside or planned for today. I just kind of sat here and said, okay, it's late in the afternoon. I haven't come on yet, so let me just go on. So as I was sitting here, I was thinking about, okay, well, what can I talk about? And I constantly say that I'm in my 50s, I'm getting older, but I hear people say, well, you don't look like you're 50. You look like you're younger than that. So maybe I'm aging gracefully. So why not catch me up with my age, as far as not my age, with how I look? If I look youthful, well, then let me start feeling youthful. Let me start doing some things that's youthful, that is okay, that I can handle with me. I'm not going to go crazy and do anything that I know that I can't handle. You did? What was the advice that you listened to on yesterday? And was it helpful? Um, Yesterday was hours away. Thank you. Yes, true beauty is timeless. So I just jotted down some things. What could that possibly mean when you tell somebody, be more youthful, be more, transition into your youth? Okay, I'm glad that it helped you. Um, so don't rush to carry the weight of the world. Can you remember when you were younger and you was like, you want to do some things and you want to be on your own, but you couldn't because you lived in your parents' house, so you had to follow the rules and regulations. And you was like, I can't wait till I get older. When I get older, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do all of this. And when you get older, you realize, oh, I can't do everything I want to do. Maybe I should have listened, or maybe I should have not rushed to get to this point. So don't rush to get older, to all of the younger people that's on here. And for those of you that are older, don't go fast backwards to um a teenager. Like you have some. I got confused between a provider and a shower the first date. You got confused between a provider and a show off. So what you mean? The person was talking as if they were a provider and didn't come across that way when you met them? Um, but see, that's why communication and conversation is very important. You want to have that conversation and talk about things well in. And sometimes you can realize that when you're talking to people, you're not really ready to meet them because there's still more communication and conversations to go that you have to talk about, basically. Be your second wife. Um, okay. That's just random out of nowhere. But be spontaneous and take risks now. But take risks that you can that will accommodate you. Don't go out there and if you know you ain't never ride a motorcycle before, don't go out there, oh, I'm gonna feel young, I'm gonna ride a motorcycle. No, don't do that. You don't know how to ride a motorcycle, so why would you get on a motorcycle? Um, don't let fear paralyze you into missing out. Now, as you get older, depending on what phase in your life that you're now introduced to, you can get nervous and fearful. They have the same similarities. Okay, thank you for sharing. Um, oh, 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 oh. I'm going up, all the way up. Nothing could stop me. I'm all the way up. Music can keep you young. I always like to listen to the music that I grew up to. It brings me back to my childhood. I didn't smoke anything. Why would you ask me what did I don't smoke. This topic, this conversation is youth transition. Sometimes I can act silly. I'm not always serious, but I am serious when it comes down to it. Sorry to hear that. So let me open this up to you all out there. What are some youthful transitions that you do? If you are older in age, let's say 40 on up, what is it that you do? Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Is it too hot in your area? Is that why you can't breathe and you're in the hospital? I'm sorry to hear that. I pray that God will help you and the nurses and doctors that are there are able to help you. Discuss youth transitions and staying young. Share your thoughts. How can we stay young, y'all? What's the name of the stone and your neck? Amethyst. I just came back from the farmer's market, so usually I wear some of the stuff that I sell to kind of give people an idea of what some of the merchandise look like. So I am still wearing the merchandise from the farmer's market. So if uh, that's why I still have the stuff on today. Um, yeah. All right, you're welcome. And yeah, a lot of people don't go out. A lot of people don't go out because everything's expensive. And everything is not the same as what uh I don't go out because I don't know what's out there. I know when I was younger and going out to clubs and different things like that, there were a lot of clubs to go out to. I've been in this area where I stay at and I have not yet seen one club. I don't know where one is. But when I was growing up, I knew where they all were. There is not a girl behind me. Rejection is a terrible thing. Nobody wants to be rejected. But don't let that be the end of things. Sometimes rejection is your protection. So even though you're going through or you may be rejected, it might be a blessing in the long run down the line. So just don't be afraid of rejection. Although, it might at that moment have an effect on you, but in the long run, it just might save your life. So if somebody rejects you, count that as a blessing and keep it moving. Don't stop. Keep it going because I've learned too. There's been a lot of relationships that I've gotten into after my husband has passed and it did not go anywhere. I've got ghosted right after meeting these people sometimes at the first encounter. I'm looking at that as a blessing. Maybe it wasn't supposed to work out. Okay, you're 16, you're too young to be in my life. But anyway, to answer your question, how do you keep confident in yourself? Love yourself. I sing to myself. I can carry a tune. All right, y'all comments are getting offhand. Um, did you give us a sample? A sample of a song? I can't be put on the spot. I gotta feel like singing. That's the problem. Failure does not mean rejection does not mean you're a failure. If you put in your forefront of your mind that rejection is protection, you won't think about that. So put in your mind, your forefront of your mind, that rejection is God's protection. God knows better than you do and see further than you do. So sometimes rejection is a blessing in disguise. You have no idea what you just got saved from. Okay. And to the one that said that they need to have more self-esteem and so forth, you can have so much self-esteem and by just simply loving yourself. Spend on one-on-one time. I always say spend on one-on-one time with God because with God you get to understand who you are. And then read some scriptures and or read the word to hear God's voice and how God speaks to you. You have to spend quiet time, and I'm talking to you as well as myself. I can spend quiet time, but my quiet time is not always quiet. There's a music playing in the background, or there's the TV or something. But spend that one-on-one time with God, with no noise, and listen to what God has to say. And you can use the internet to find out where in the Bible to give you more definition on what to talk about. There's hair that is just all over the place. But yeah, so just Spend time, seek guidance from God, and listen to what God has to say. That went kind of fast, so maybe I wasn't supposed to read it. Because I've heard of that, of the culture of which is shame based. If you love yourself, what somebody else can think about or say about you doesn't make any difference. It only matters what you think. What do you think about you? That's all that matters. And I'm telling you this because I had very low self esteem growing up. And it got me nowhere but into more trouble and to a lot of problems and situations that I really shouldn't have been in because I didn't have enough love for myself and I felt like I had to do certain things to gain the love of somebody else. But if you learn to love yourself, and I mean truly love everything about you, your complexion, your smile, your eyes, your nose, your teeth, your body, your shape, love everything about you. Appreciate everything about you and understand that there's no perfect person out there. Understand that we're going to make mistakes. That's how we learn. Mistakes is how we grow. You can't run from mistakes. You can't run from rejection. You can't run from being afraid of something because sometimes you're going to be introduced to something new. Most of the time, you're going to be introduced to something new. You're not going to always know how to do it. So there is a fear that might come onto you, but you be stronger than that fear. Fear is the evidence of things appearing real. It's not real. It doesn't have no power until you give it power. So learn to love you. Do things that you like. Okay. If you are of a certain age where you are very independent, you can go and shop for yourself, or if your parents give you money, buy some things that you like, uh, wear some things that you like, put on some scents and smells, perfumes or colognes that you like. Do things that make you feel good. Do things that you like. You won't know what's out there in experience unless you try it. And you're not putting in your forward mind that you're going to do this for somebody else. No, you're doing it for yourself. So you do what you need to do for you. You're learning yourself. When you're a youth, when you're a young or child, teenager, that's your time to experience on you. Learn everything that you need to know about you before you get out there in that real world and get involved with relationships and get involved with jobs and leaving home and moving on. You spend those young adult years and teenage years learning about yourself, what you like, what you don't like. Um, what you want to accomplish, what you don't want to accomplish, where you want to live, how you want to live, all that stuff is what you should be thinking about as a young adult teenage year before you get out the house and live on your own. And you should be learning the basic stuff at home, how to cook, how to groom yourself, how to uh, be responsible, how to pay a bill, or how to make sure that you get up and go to work, or go to school on time. I don't like these gnats, y'all. They are crazy up in here. It's so hot outside that they just find their way inside and just have a field day in your presence. But okay. Well, I don't know because I've been here all my life. So, and independence and all that stuff is a development that you develop as you grow older. It all depends on how you are brought up in the house. Like, for example, I have 4 kids, and before they went to college and left my house to go on their own, I made sure that they could cook me a meal. Because if they can cook me a meal, they can cook themselves a meal. I made sure that they understood how to write a check. I made sure that they knew how to uh, uh, abide by rules and regulations. I let them know that if you do this and you got in the real world, it's not gonna fly. You can't get over on people. You can't even get over on me. You think you might be getting over on me, but you can't. And don't try to do that out there. So, I try to prepare my kids my young adults, before they go out into the real world. Now, did I do it at that beginning with my first one? No, it broke down. And when I knew better, I do better. As I learn more, I teach more. So I had to learn how to do that. But eventually, the goal was to make sure that they were okay. And even when my oldest one went out the house, I didn't eliminate me trying to get her to do what she needed to do. Even though I may not have done it the same way with the rest of my kids, I still stay close to make sure that she was getting whatever she needed to get done. Checking, did you do this? Did you try that? Or, do this, or whatever the case might be. I tell my kids, you can talk to me about anything. There's nothing new under the sun. I probably went through something that you've already been through. So chances are, talk to me. I'll have something to say, and then you're welcome. And then, sometimes the kids feel like they know more than you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to you, but I'm gonna say what I have to say. And if I'm right, okay. I'm not gonna, unless it's something that is funny that I might say, I told you so. But if it's something that's real serious and so forth in life, I won't, make them feel uncomfortable about it. But, at some point they feel like they know more than the parents, and I don't understand how y'all do. But it's all, maybe you've got a message from God and God told you something that your parents didn't know. Or maybe you just got intuition. And maybe you've been here before, so you remember some things from a previous life. I don't know. But it's all in how you are brought up in your home and how, all that youth time. The basic part of this whole conversation is to prepare yourself when you're during that time. Learn to love you so that when you become an adult, you love you so much that the cares of this world has no effect on you. That what people say around you when you get older has no effect on you. You learn through school and being around other people, social skill, social emotional skills, and you learn how to deal with people who don't like you and who do like you, and what it feels like to be talked about, and what it feels like to be picked on. You learn all of that, all those emotions and feelings. You learn that as a youth, and you're supposed to learn from it. You're supposed to feel what it feels. So when you get older, oh, I know what this feeling is. I handle it back then. I'm an adult now. I can handle it a little bit better. And then you go forth and you learn from it. You have to use everything you learned from youth on to now as we navigate through this life. Y'all have some very interesting compliments. But see, luckily, I love myself, all of me, squishy arms, different color hair, and all. So if you're saying this to try to hurt my feelings, you're not. I consider myself a canvas that I get to recreate and draw and make beautiful every time that I get, every chance that I get. And I love me enough to know that whatever I look like, I'm satisfied with it. I'm content with it. I'm not here to try to please nobody else. I'm not. I've earned every part of that. I am a very wise woman with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Now, if you can't be respectful and say something nice, then don't say nothing nice. Don't say nothing at all. That's another something that's taught to you when you're a youth and you're young. So, don't confuse that with you hurt my feelings. No, disrespect is disrespect. And I'm not going to have disrespect. I'm not disrespecting you. So why disrespect me? But yeah, youth transition. As we grow older, we lose that youth that's in us because we have to deal with the cares and the concerns of this world, and we have to get real serious real fast, especially if you have a child and have responsibilities, or even if you move out on your own or go to college, whatever the case might be. You have to lose the youth and get an adult real quick. But I'm saying to you all out there, this world is designed to break you and to remake you into a selfless, emotionless robot. And that's not what you are. You have already that stuff being created. Um, One thing that I know as of right now, what these AI things cannot master is your personal feeling and emotions. Everything that is affected with that is put into it so it can go a certain so it can come across a certain way. Even though when you look at it on the TV and or the cam whatever they put it on, it looks so real, like it's real life. But it can't capture your real emotions, your feelings, and things that you've been through, things that you've been through in the past. That's not what AI can capture. You have that for yourself. And that's something that you need to cherish. And that's something that follows you from a youth on to adulthood. Hello, baby girl. I see you on. or no, maybe she's not on. It's saying to invite her. But if you're not, that's okay. But but yeah, um, as we get older, you want to maintain that youth. Do things to keep you young. I'm not saying, I'm not promoting any type of substances that you used to do as when you did when you were young. I'm simply saying do things that make you young. Go to an amusement park. I will go to an amusement park today, but I will not get on a roller coaster. I just won't. I'll go on other rides, but not a roller coaster. I don't think I'm willing to go on a roller coaster. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for that suggestion. Um, but uh-oh, I went on commercial. Reverend, I was about to go sing. But yeah, do something to keep you young. It's Saturday, although it's hot outside. I am doing great. How are you doing? All right, something flashed across my tablet. But you have a wonderful day too. Thank you. It's a disgust the way you treat me. I'm glad you're having a great day. Thank you for the hearts, much appreciated. I love seeing those hearts. So keep bringing them. If I say something that grabs your attention, something that makes sense, please tap them hearts. I see that TikTok has these automatic tappers. You just put it on your phone and just tap 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 tap. And I'm like, I wonder if I could do that on my own live. I didn't look further into it. I just saw them put it on the phone and how it can tap and give other people a lot of hearts for their lives. I said they make everything. They create a lot of things out there. We got a lot of creative people out there. That's another way to stay young and youthful. Create. Create something new. Use what you learned from when you were younger and then add to it and create something new, something better, something that's more appropriate for your age as you get older. For example, um, I was saying it's hot outside. A lot of adults can't do too much sugar. Um, but you can create like a popsicle with I don't know, get creative with foods and fruits and create something. Okay. I'm saying y'all comments up here just be like interesting. I'm learning to read them with my lips closed so that I don't repeat some of the things that y'all be trying to put out there. Thank you for the hearts, much appreciated. Thank you for joining the live. I hope that you're having an awesome Saturday. The topic of discussion is youth transition. It's just basic conversation on what you can do to, or some advice that you can give to help us older folks stay youthful. To just, the world is going through a lot right now. Okay, peace. You don't want to have that conversation. It's all cool. The world is going through a lot of stuff right now. I mean, I just want to come on to try to give some type of encouragement to keep going. um you know the world is burning everywhere you look. There's fires and the smoke is jumping from state to state to state, and states that's hours away the smoke is still coming through. So I want to come on, stay single. Let's stay single to keep you youth, to keep you young. Well, if you like to travel perhaps, but if you're just going to stay single in a home and just, it's no fun. It's no fun. You got to do something that's going to make you want to enjoy life and not put so much focus. Live stress free. Yeah, that is the key to live stress free. I don't know what that. No, I don't speak Espanol. I speak English and I barely read Spanish. But All right, sorry, getting them songs. Eat healthy, exercise. Yes. Eat healthy, exercise is the plan, and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? Yeah. Um, that eating healthy part is even becoming scarce because you don't know what you're eating. If you're not growing your own food, which they have systems now that you can put inside your house and grow your food instead of outside. You got to be careful with a lot of stuff that you got to buy nowadays. I mean, I love salad. I can't eat salad like I want to. Now I got to find a vegetable to eat that I have to cook. Thank you. You ask me if I speak Spanish, but you text in really good English. Thank you very much. Um, um, but yeah, you got to be careful what you're eating nowadays. I mean, everything. So it's real high. It's like 99 degrees outside. Cooking vegetables strips the nutrients. Yeah, yeah, but you're gonna have to. You can't eat raw cabbage or greens. You gotta cook it. Carrots, yeah, you can eat raw. Peppers, you can eat raw. But like lettuce was like my go-to meal and cereal. Lettuce and cereal, not together. Bad combination. But my when it's hot like this, I eat like light foods. I'll do sautés where I use the vegetables or salads where I can eat the raw vegetables and smoothies, which I got to be careful now with the smoothies because of the sugar. So, you know, okay. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, I hope that you guys are having a cool Saturday. Like I said, I just came from the farmers market and I just came on here. I said, well, you know what? I didn't get to go on this morning and it's kind of late in the afternoon. Let me just come on here and just, make an appearance because I try to make it a habit to come on and and do a live every day. Now, I need to push myself on the other live that I be trying to do, which is entitled Totally Over It Yo. Um, it's not that much all of this was made with love. I consider myself the purest form of love possible. That's how God made me. But thank you for the compliment. But as I was saying on Totally Over It Yo, on the other platform that I go on, it's not lively. There's not a lot of people that's talking back. So it's not that push to want to go on there as if I was on here. Here you get a lot of feedback and I enjoy reading the conversations that you guys put in and you help me bring the conversations out. And with the help of God, I'm able to lead. Now I'm not gonna stop doing the other one. I gotta get motivated to do it because it's like I'm just talking to myself. It used to be one or two people coming on, and even if one or two people come on, I'm cool because I know that there's still somebody there. Hello, how you doing? Thank you for joining the live. So I just have to get used to that atmosphere. But yeah, but thank you for the compliment. What does it matter what I think? Did you enjoy it? Um, or is that a movie? I don't know what that is. A game? I don't know. But yeah, what are some other video games? That's another way to keep young. I'm not a fan of video games. I'm not a fan of video games, but my kids love it. My husband, when he was alive, he loved it. But all of them together made me not a fan of video games. So I don't do video games. But I do like watching love videos, love movies. Like I'm a chick flick. I love all chick flicks. I'm not a chick flick. I like watching chick flicks. That did not come out right. I like watching, love movies, love stories, stories that don't have all that action. I love action movies too, but I can't watch action movies too much. Not when I'm trying to calm down because I get real rowdy up in these action movies. But that's another way to stay young too. If you're like one of those people that can't go to the movie theaters because you'll be other, no, don't go over there. No, don't go over there. Stay over here. What you doing? I can't, my kids are like, nah, we can't take mommy to that movie because she'll be so loud in the movie theater. So I watch my movies that always talk about love and romance and happy endings and happily ever after. I know that's not realistic in real life. Come on, enjoy. Are you up there? Hold on. Oh, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. You have any youth transitions other than you said stay single? And
That's a good way to stay young, stay single.
hmm but it's boring unless you someone that like to travel or are able to travel. I've not.
Well, it would be boring if you depended on someone else for your happiness, right?
It depends. I mean, yeah, if one thinks that way, but I don't know. I guess I don't travel much, but me when I travel, I guess I travel with companionship. I want to know that somebody else is there, but I don't travel by myself. I'm trying to learn how to travel by myself, but I don't know what that's like.
You have become accustomed to sharing life with someone else, but if you had not become accustomed to that, then how would you actually know that traveling by yourself is boring?
Valid
Like
point.
even if you like say you produce children from your relationship, so now your life can consist of having someone there, whether it be a spouse or like
Eh,
you
The
said,
children. I'm
somebody.
usually traveling with the kids. And I
Yeah,
try to do stuff outside of after my husband passed to travel, and it's always been with my kids. So I would love to go out to see what it's like, but then my mind would be like, what they doing at home?
exactly. But then even as they get older, you notice that they start to want to live their own life
They travel more than
less and
me.
less without you, right?
Yeah, they
How does
travel
that
more than
make you
me.
feel? How does that make you feel?
That I kind of went about it booty backwards. I should have traveled first and then started a family, but I let lust get in the way and it just took over. So I did not have that opportunity. But I'm to the point now to where I would love to, do that. Now I don't know where to go because there's so many things going on out there.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
But the thing is, um, I would say, I tell my youngest, I say, focus more on doing what it is that you want to do with your life and focus less on relationships because ultimately, what ends up happening sometimes when somebody's too young trying to be in a relationship, they get bogged down with baggage from
Mm-hmm.
that other person. Now, I'm not going against the natural function of men and women to be in
Mm-hmm.
relationships, but I also see the downfall or the issue with relationships when you have not discovered who you are as a person yet.
Yeah, I can understand that too. They become adults and not even know what adulthood is. Um, and then they don't want
Like
to
you was
travel or leave the other person because they're now connected and think that they got to do each other. Not they, no, wrong choice of words. They have to hang around each other as if they were husband and wife, and they're not even legally married.
Yeah, and you're playing house without a ring. So
Yeah.
with that being said,
Mhm.
like I'll use this as an example. I remember my oldest son when he first introduced me to his girlfriend.
Mhm.
I said, "Do not get her pregnant." Now I told him that because when he was born or conceived, I was probably only about 17. So with that being said, I knew what it was
Mhm.
to start early. Now he is, for the past how many years, trying to get his career where he wanted to be
Mhm.
to take care of his family. So with that being said, he lost a lot of his young years.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now he's 30. I'm 50 and I'm telling him,
Mhm.
now what you need to do, even though you're doing what you have to do as a man, you need to find a way to
Hmm.
take time for yourself,
Yeah.
or you're mentally going to break down.
Yeah.
That's called a midlife crisis. You agree or disagree?
I agree. Is that when the according to the movies, they got these men buying these convertibles and spending all this money and doing things that they wish they would have done when they were younger and they're older.
That, that, or even reckless behavior, maybe getting involved in other relationships outside of the household,
Mm-hmm.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah. You're right.
So with all that being said, one way that I say to stay youthful is maybe avoid I'm gonna say cumbersome. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna just use that word. Relationships. Um, Not wasting your young years. I would say partying too much.
Mm-hmm. Because that has
Um,
effect on you too when you get older. If you drink a lot and all that other stuff, it messes
you
with your
know,
organs and stuff when you get older.
and then maybe how about instead of finding a job, find something that you like to do and find a way to make money doing that.
Yeah,
Because there's a big difference between a job and something that you enjoy doing. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Because with the job, it just becomes mundane routine and it just gets old after a while. You're like, what's going on here?
You
And it,
suffocate. You just feel like you're closed in and you
yeah,
just stuck.
no fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
now you're just doing it out of duty, especially if you put the horse before the carriage and had a family young,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're on the hamster wheel trying to, yeah, I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take care of young ones when you yourself did not get a chance to sit there and
Mm-hmm.
maybe get paid to play video games. Because if you think about it, we got people out here making millions of
Mm.
dollars to sit online.
Big bucks. And they teach
Yes,
that in college. They have not teach. Well, yeah, they do. They have college courses or uh electives where you can go ahead and do these video games and possibly make money on campus. It depends on where you look at, but yeah, they doing this stuff now in college. And I totally agree what you were saying. I don't know if I cut you off.
you good? Good.
But I totally agree with what you're saying because I'm at a point now where I have to start over. And I do not want to do something that's going to break my body down any further than what I've already allowed it to do because I took jobs because I take care of my family prior to. And I got people in my ear, well, you better go ahead and get it. You better go apply for this, apply for that. But if I know it's not good for my health, I'm not going to apply. You got to learn how to tune those noises out of your ears and do what's best for you. And I'm to the point now where I totally surrender and God has to take total control. I mean, I'm doing what I have to do, but I'm not putting my hands in it. But just to go back to what you were saying about the youth, and I tell my kids this too. And that's why I say my children, they travel more than me. They go all around the world, and I don't argue with that. They don't have any kids. I got one child that have fur babies, and so she don't go too far because she got two cats. And I have another daughter who just travels and do whatever she wants because she doesn't have any kids. So I push on them, do things that you want to do. If you're gonna go out into the field and work, try to put a little aside for your future, but don't miss out on what you can do as a young person and try to get a career to where you can, I want to say, take ownership to it. So if you want to go further, you can either branch off and grow from that particular business or something that you enjoy doing that's going to make money. Don't wait till you get 50 years old to try to start up businesses when you could have been doing this stuff when you were younger.
Exactly. 'Cause I mean, like you, I mean, I'm piggybacking off. I heard you said everything is burning and how to stay young. And
Yes.
it just makes me think about, I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I've always been like a pessimist. I look at things like,
Hmm.
I might look at things at how they are, but it's really about whether what they say, looking at things, is the glass half full or is it half empty? I mean, I look at things like, it depends on how I'm feeling. If I had a little bit of sugar that day, I might say, oh, the glass is half full. But
Hmm.
if I'm feeling some kind of way, I'm like, man, the glass is half empty.
Hmm.
I mean, they have literally made it impossible, almost impossible for you to retire. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
Every year you
everything
get
is
older, so does the
ridiculous.
retirement age. I totally understand that. It,
Yeah, it's just, it's like you sitting up here looking. I'm like, you sitting up. I worked a career for over 20 some years working in electrical trade. And it's
Mhm.
like, man, it's just, and I'm like always chasing. And the thing about working in construction is one thing, once that building is done, it's over. It's time to go. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
So that means that you're constantly moving around. So I
Mhm.
find myself traveling for work. And it's like I've been down south, I've been out Midwest, I've been here, I've been there, up north.
Mhm.
And what happens is you get on that road and you're just lonely sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when you're used to being with next to a warm body. And it's like, what kind of life is this? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's the thing. I would recommend if a young man could get out here or a young woman that's interested in the trades, they could get out here and make well, I mean, over 100 and some $1,000 a year, depending on how much they want to work, as long as they're not cumbered about with a relationship. That's why I said
Mhm.
that it may be good for your mental state, which is part of staying young,
Mhm.
to not jump into relationships very early.
Yeah.
And the reason why I keep referring back to relationships when it comes to staying young, is because one thing about being in unhealthy relationships, I think it ages you.
It does age you. Don't think it does age you.
It'll stress you out.
It will.
And I have like I like wonder like why do people's hair break off? Why do people hair turn gray? Pretty fast. Me, I'm 51, so I'll be 52 this year. So I can't wait till my whole beard just turn all the way white. I'm looking forward to it because I know it's over. I
Mhm.
get more and more gray, and I'm okay with it. I have grandchildren. It is what it is. It's almost like you would say that sometimes maybe unhealthy relationships will actually cause you to lose your youth, because if you spend a lot of years in bad relationships,
Mhm.
it will be a detriment to your health.
Mhm. I
And what
can.
do they say? Health is wealth, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Being wealthy is not necessarily just money. Being wealthy is how well you carry yourself, how well how well you show your fruits, in other words. But I agree with what you're saying as far as how stress and so forth can age you. Stress is a silent destroyer, and having to do so much, and yeah, a lot of things for women. You lose hair. Not just men have receding hairlines. Women have receding hairlines as well. If they're stressing, they lose hair. They don't lose hair like in the top part of the head. Well, maybe some do, and some lose it around the edges of their hair. But I wanted to say something that you talk about something that you said, because I always believe that we should have a solution. So um, you gave advice on how to stay young. Now, what do we tell these people that are in these states that need to go back to themselves and to do um, something youthful despite what they're going through? And I also want to say, I see all you that's on there saying hello and thank you for joining the live and much appreciated. I didn't want to interrupt what was being said, so that's why I was staying quiet in the background. But what can we tell um, individuals who are at that point to where they've done so much and they need to find youth? They need to go back to waking up something in them to give them that push to want to tap into their, am I wording it right? Tap into their youth.
Well, I'm gonna say a very large part of the population has some sort of relationship or some type of interpersonal or something going on with another person, whether it
Hmm.
be uh, opposite, same, whatever.
Hmm.
You do what you do.
Hmm.
But one thing I have to say, in my opinion, and it just sounds, some people think it just sounds undoable. One, you can't be afraid to be alone.
That's a big thing. And a lot of people are afraid to be alone. That's why they're with people that make them to go.
Exactly. But if that thing like I just told my youngest son, he just graduated high school. I said, look, man, I said, don't be afraid to cut somebody off. that is not adding nothing to your life. If they're just always bringing you down with problems and all this other stuff, because they may have come from a household that is unhealthy, so therefore they don't know how to really function in relationships,
Mhm.
then man, don't be afraid to leave that relationship. And I
Yeah.
and I use and I use their older siblings as examples. I said, look, you got your brother, and they got three other siblings.
Mhm.
And it's like they all have children. Now, my oldest daughter, she has, last time I remember, she has four children. She is married to none of these men.
Mhm.
First three babies, I met this man right away, and I just seen something in him that I didn't like. In other words, I'll just say this. Seeing the way I used to carry myself as a young man, and I realized, I said, this guy is not good for her. So I didn't really care for how he was. But at the same time, I had to realize this is the person she has children with. And I love my granddaughters, right?
Mhm.
So it was like, all right, here we go.
Mhm.
And then it got to the point where I was getting, I might be going off topic a little bit. I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. Keep
But
going. That's
it's
fine.
like, it's almost like, once I was being asked for money, I was like, well, wait a minute. You need to get child support from him because I paid child support for her.
Mhm.
So I was like, no, he didn't like that. And that's, hey, I don't care. But what
Uh-huh.
I would say to my youngest daughter, I would say, don't end up like your older sister
Mhm.
because you see what she did with her choices. But the thing was, I had to take ownership in the part that I played in that. I helped create that child. In other words, as I was coming up, I seen how her mother was moving. And I seen that she gave her child to every man that she was with. And I was one of them.
Mhm.
So I was like, I didn't want, and I feared, this is what it was. I feared that our daughter was going to end up a product of her environment.
Gotcha.
So I got stressed out. So one way to stay young is to not have a bunch of children out of wedlock.
Mhm.
Because when that child support system come after you, they don't care. That will cause you to age.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
then it
mean?
don't stop.
And it don't stop until they're 18.
And
I'll
no,
never
it don't even
forget.
stop past that. If you was somebody that was trying to run from child support, you could be retired. They'll still come after you. I got a
Exactly.
daddy that's still paying child support for me, and I'm 50.
Right. It just,
It don't.
I never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Played the game, played it. I played the game, and with me being a union worker,
Mm-hmm.
I moved job to job a lot. So sometimes it was hard for them to catch up with me. So the thing was, whenever I was drawing unemployment, and I'm glad that I'm anonymous because I can share some of these details.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, go job to job, and they're like, where you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm here or whatever. But then whenever I was drawing unemployment between uh, jobs, I still paid the full amount. I never had it adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have it adjusted until the economy was doing really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I was like, it's time for an adjustment. I can't afford to pay the same amount because
Mm-hmm.
unemployment is only a third of what I made on a 40-hour check. So I had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. But then by the time right before she was going to turn 18, I'll never forget it. Right around her 18th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've done all these years. And right before I was $1,000 in arrears. I never forget it. I went to court. I'm in my work boots, left work to go to court and everything. And the state insisted that I be locked up for $1,000. And
Oh
that
wow.
judge said I would not reprimand him into custody, remand him to custody over $1,000.
Yeah.
$1,000 after 17 years is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That is, then I got friends that owe 20,000.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's
So
crazy.
yeah, so then certain things were going on in my life, and right, they got me. They got me right at her 18th birthday. They got me in front of a female judge. I'm not saying that that made a difference, but the male judge weren't going to put me in
Depending
jail.
on how she felt, it could have. Not saying that made it right, but
Yeah, but for the same $1,000, because
Mhm.
what they found out, this is what it was. Right when I was right when I was in between assignments, and a lot of time our assignments sometimes are just short-term jobs,
Mhm.
2 weeks assignments, 3 week assignments, 1 month. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Depends. And this is before I would really travel out of state.
Okay.
Man, they gave me 30 days in jail.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh snap, for
Oh,
a
wow.
thousand bucks.
Oh, wow.
Yep, gave me 30 days. I said, oh, okay.
I didn't know
That's
that.
how I get down. So I went on, filed the unemployment, and went on and finished, paid up 1,000 bucks, and that was it. But yeah.
Mm.
But one way to stay young, a lot of I think personal relationships age you.
Mhm.
Having children out of wedlock will
Mhm.
age you. It's nothing against the children. Um, Abusing drugs and alcohol
Mhm.
will age you.
Mhm.
Being in relationships and being a cheater will
Mhm.
age you because you got to keep lying.
Yeah.
And then the divine consequences that come behind the cheating. You think you're going to get away? No, you don't. You don't get away. It might not come. You might escape without catching something that hurt your health, but the divine consequences are worse.
Mhm.
Like when he deal with you, then it's really bad. It's like, you go to work one day and all of a sudden your boss don't like you no more, and then you don't have a job, or he puts holes in your pockets,
Mhm.
things of that nature. Your car breaks down.
Mhm.
People think that they can just do whatever they want
And
and
you
not
can't.
suffer the
There is a I
consequences.
tell people karma is real.
Yeah, the people don't believe in that, but
Mhm.
I'm here to tell you it's very real.
It's real. I want to say
Yeah.
so. I want to go back on something that you said because you was talking about your one of your children, and one thing that I talk about too, and I try to teach and try to get people to look at is when you know yourself and love yourself and know all about you. You know what is yours and what's not yours, and you got a lot of people in this world that try to put their insecurities on you, thinking that you're not going to know what they're doing. Some people do it knowingly, and some people do it unaware. But knowing who you are and loving yourself, you'll know that this is not mine, this is not my issue, this is their issue. And a lot of people like to make their issues your issues, but you need to stand firm and stand strong and know this is not my issue. And this is when I don't know if y'all notice when I talk, or if you notice when I talk on here, I always point back, okay, well, this is what someone is going through. I'm not feeling the same way they're feeling, so that I know that is not my issue, it's their problem, it's not a my problem. So I'll just reinvert and say it out loud. You know what, that's not my problem, that's a your problem. And the more that I say it, even if I get uncomfortable and may not, and you get around certain people, you don't want to hurt their feelings, it doesn't mean anything anymore because you're realizing, wait a minute, now you putting something on me that's not mine. Take ownership to your own stuff and not um and me recognizing what's mine and what's not mine. So I just wanted to go back and iterate that part when you was talking about your son. Um Letting him, well, he should recognize and be able to say just like I said it. But but yeah.
Yeah, he shouldn't internalize or allow somebody to dump their garbage
Yeah.
on him.
And the people will do it.
Yeah, you can't. It was the other best way to say it. You can't be somebody else's trash can.
Yeah. Yeah. There was
Yeah,
somebody that
so
was on here that was sharing their story about they had to deal with child support too. And uh they comment on your story and what you were sharing.
mhm.
Um but I thank you for sharing your story, and I thank the person that's on here, Junior Collins, for sharing your story too. Um it's a lot of stuff in this world that we got to go through, or unnecessary stuff that we go through because of um choices and so forth. But I don't know how else to tie that in. It is what it is.
Well,
Uh,
that's some of the main things, like
mhm,
not taking on. You want to avoid taking on unnecessary debt.
mhm,
That is modern day slavery,
yeah. And they try to
and
get you to do a lot of stuff credit and not pay cash. Uh, and I don't know. Somebody told me that's the way that you have to do it, but if it comes back and bites you in the end, I don't agree with that.
I mean, it's you gotta be able to tell yourself no.
Mhm,
Like, why? Just if you can't afford, if you, this is what I always heard. If you can't afford to pay cash for it, then you can't afford it.
mhm. Well, see, this is
Now,
what.
somebody might say, all right, if you say that's true, a lot of us don't have this. The equivalent of it is, you don't have a lot of people don't have $300,000 to put on a house, but
Mhm.
you probably gonna have to finance certain things. But
Mhm.
I think that's a good way to look at things.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I agree. I don't like window shopping. My mom used to say, "Let's go window shopping." I don't like window shopping. That's just like a trap. You go and see all these things that these stores want, and now you want this and you want that, and then you get upset because you can't get it because you're just window shopping. I don't window shop. If I don't have the funds to do it, we ain't gotta go no we ain't gotta go to the store. Let that stay over there, and then I don't have to worry about what I want and and different things like that. There's a lot of things that tempt you to want to get you to do things and spend things. But like you said, you gotta have self-control. You gotta know you gotta know your budget. You gotta know when it's time to spend and when it's not.
And you said two things that pretty much describe what that is. You said tempt
Hmm.
and you said window shop. As soon as you said window shop, right away I thought the lust of the eyes.
Hmm.
The minute you start
Yeah.
looking at stuff and lust, oh, I gotta have it. Like
Yeah.
I remember my first $30,000 vehicle, which honestly 30,000 is cheap compared to what vehicles cost now.
Oh yeah.
But my first $30,000 vehicle only came about because I started looking at all the other parents picking up their kids, thinking to myself, "Ooh, I want to pick up my children in the suburban too." But I didn't know what they had to go through to get that vehicle.
Hmm.
And the crazy thing about buying large SUVs, everything on that is twice as much as a car,
Hmm.
if not three times. The tires are more.
Hmm.
Everything is more.
Hmm.
And I went through it trying to pay that, and that was back in 2005.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'll never forget the payment and the interest. I had a good interest rate. I think the interest rate wasn't too bad. It might have been 4% to a credit union or something.
Hmm.
Man, them payments was $600 a month, and that was just the payment.
Hmm.
Let's not talk about the car insurance because I had a horrible driving record.
Oh, wow.
So
Hmm.
basically, between the payment and the car insurance,
Hmm.
and not including gas,
Hmm.
because that's another story.
Hmm.
I was paying like 900 a month just to keep that car on the road legally between
Hmm.
the payment and the insurance. And then I'll never forget, that's right around was it 05, 06? That's when gas started peaking over $2 a gallon.
Uh-huh.
Those vehicles have a 30 some gallon tank.
Hmm.
So it quickly went from 60, $70 to fill it up to over 100 and some dollars to fill it up. And that's when things got real.
Hmm.
And that was right around the end of when Bush was in office. I'll never forget it, man. It was terrible.
Yeah. It's crazy out there. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
but it is what it is.
yeah.
Don't get in too much debt. That's my solution to staying young. Don't get in too much debt. Don't get into relationships that don't add anything to your life. If you're not ready to get married, just avoid relationships altogether.
Hmm.
What else? Don't lie.
Hmm.
Don't cheat. Don't steal. In other words, follow
Follow
the
the
Ten
Ten
Commandments.
Commandments. That's it. That's it. It's a
Just
guide
do
there.
it.
Hmm.
What else? Yeah, just keep yourself to yourself. Don't be out here spreading your seed and having babies out of wedlock.
Hmm.
It's not worth it
It's not
because
worth it. And a
it's
lot
not
of
worth it.
a lot of and when I hear statements like that, and even when you had made the one about your baby mama, um, people are brought up in this world differently. The way that I was brought up is not the same way somebody else is brought up, and I can see what's right and what's wrong, and I'm thinking they can see it too. But if everybody in the house is the same way, most likely that person might come across the same way, unless they were introduced to a change in life to where they can see, oh, this was not right. I did this. I got to repent, or something along those lines. And I'm not trying to give people a reason to why they do what they do. I just me as a person see that there's something behind that, and they need people to kind of give them a light to look on what they're doing. Not people. I rephrase that. They need God to shed that light, and God can send people to those individuals to show them what you're doing is not kosher. Because for starters, you got a lot of young people, you got babies raising babies. And even back when I was growing up, babies raising babies. I didn't want to be a statistic. Oh, I got to get ready to get off here. But I didn't want to be a statistic because I grew up in the projects, and a lot of the kids were, having babies before they finished high school. And I'm not saying anything wrong for those who's done that. That was just me. I didn't want to do that. To the point to where I made it outside of high school, but I got pregnant that year after I got out of high school. So no, a few years later. Um, I got distracted. I kind of lost the point of what I'm saying. But basically, what I was saying is that, we're not all brought up the same way. So there's always a story behind why people do what they do. And I'm gonna stop there because I lost my point. I have to get ready to get up. I have to go do something. But I hope I didn't confuse nobody with what I was just saying. Did I make sense so far? What I was coming on? Did I confuse you? What I was trying to say?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, most of those stories are very typical, and then you also added a lot. It almost sounded like you hinted to there may have been underlying reasons why people end up making those choices that actually end up affecting their life later.
Hmm.
But but you also made a point not to actually pass judgment or condemn that person because it could, you never know why people
Yeah, and
do what
people
they
don't
do.
talk. And some
Yeah.
people, and that's why I think communication and conversation is important because it opens up whatever you had packed in, and it loosens it so things can come out. And a lot of people don't say nothing. I mean, I've seen older people that went through stuff as a young age, and I heard about it, and they ball up like babies when they get to that end cycle of life because they reflect back to what was not let out because they kept it in for so long. So um I'm a strong believer that communication is key in helping as a healing mechanism because it heals. But I'm gonna
All
have to
right.
cut this conversation short because I have to run and do something.
All right.
But I do thank you for joining the live. Please don't let this be the last time. We can do this again. Um, Uh, I hope that you all out there. I had to take somebody off. I gave somebody a compliment up there. I take that compliment back because he went ahead and went to a whole nother avenue of something he shouldn't have said. So I'm not even condoning that dude. He's no longer on here, if it is a dude. But you talk about something, give a compliment, and they go and show the tail and do something negative. But I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Please don't be a stranger. Come back again and join us live. Most likely, I'll try to come back on today. If not, I'll definitely be on tomorrow. Remember, God loves you. I love you. You love you. Thank you again for being a guest or coming on this live. Much again, appreciation to you and thank you. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.
You too.
Thank you.